Today we've discussed all sorts from transport and infrastructure and housing and retrofit and energy grid resilience. So we've had a really wide-ranging discussion today, which has been really interesting. The city has some huge challenges around our ageing housing stock, around engaging our population in the choices we have to make and how we ensure that we bring our population with us. So every household, every person, every business is coming together to collectively work. What keeps me awake at night, I think, is the time pressure. You know, this is happening now, this is a threat now, and we need to be acting now. And I think the plans we're putting in place now and the models we're developing will really work to shift the dial on that, hopefully.
There was a long talk about mitigation, how to reduce our carbon, to effectively plug that leak in the ship to try and reduce our output. But the adaptation measures are also key. There's going to be sea level rises, there's going to be increased flooding, increased drought. We need to make sure we're prepared for that.
I think from a public sector lens, it's very much about the decarbonisation of transport, the decarbonisation of our homes. Here in Liverpool City region, we have 1.6 million residents. 60% of homes in the city region are energy rated C or below, and that's simply not acceptable, both from an affordable warmth perspective. Choosing to heat or eat is not acceptable, but also to support our journey to net zero. I think also the decarbonisation of industry. We see a lot of the big players in industry with very aggressive and active agendas to cut their carbon emissions. But there are the smaller businesses and those medium-sized businesses that perhaps need that greater level of support. And we want to support and convene and see how we can improve their journey.
Education is really, really important. It's a leadership by people like ourselves and doing schemes like we're doing at Eden and Greenhouse in Salford, being bold, being innovative and leading the charge in terms of sustainability and climate adaptation and resilience. I think it's also about joined up thinking between public and private sector and working together.
One of the big reasons that I think about on a kind of daily basis is reducing carbon emissions, both operational and embodied carbon in our buildings and in the built environment. I'd like to think that that's what I do on a daily basis at work, making sure that we reduce our carbon emissions. It's not enough to talk about the technical solutions to retrofit or the data or the policy or the governance. We need to address all parts of the system. We need to talk about behaviour change and we need that whole system transformation, not just thinking about all these different aspects in isolation.
I think the biggest takeaway is that we need some kind of shared effort and shared resource around the city region, and whether that's the combined authority which they are driving with the tidal scheme or whether that's central government. But yeah, I think we all need some kind of shared understanding and knowledge of it.
As part of the sort of university strategy, we are looking at a decarbonisation programme, and we are making starts on that, and we want to try and invest a certain amount every year, just so that we can do what we can that's within our gift, really. But alongside that, we are looking at things around behaviour change, and if we don't need to use things, then don't use things. So it's trying to get a very holistic model where almost every decision that you make, do you consider that decision thinking about sustainability aspects of that decision? Because I think then that will drive better business practice, really.
I'm a landscape architect and designer, so we're able to bring biodiversity improvement, heat island effects, stormwater management. It helps with creating fabulous places for people to be, and so I think we can bring a lot to the conversation. We had an interesting discussion where actually we started to talk more about value. So understanding the overall values, the multi-beneficial values of different interventions, and how if you get that right, then you can balance that value against the cost.
People are taking this seriously, and that for me is a big positive of today, is to look around me, see everyone across the industry all trying to make a positive change and a positive impact.